Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here with PodiumArchery.com, showing you the 5th or 6th rendition of the draw board that we've been working on forever. We took in a decent amount of orders last year and ran into some issues with production. And there's a lot of people that have been patiently waiting, or mildly impatiently waiting, some of them, for this product to actually get to them. Long story short, manufacturer I was dealing with promised me a lot of things that they couldn't fulfill or do, and we ended up in a little sticky spot. So I went to somebody else and had these made with some renditions that I wanted, and we can fulfill and ship these now. When this video comes out, every back order will have been shipped and we will have inventory to sell. Won't see this video before then. So this is relatively simple to operate. We run a 15/16 socket on a drill to move it back and forth. This has a 3/4 Acme thread in it, so it's the machining thread, how it's designed. And spins up and back. For draw board, and then pull this little pin over here, I don't know if you can see that from where you're at, and rotate it to an angle like so. And when it's pulled back, you can set your third axis on your sight, and we'll run through that with you. So simplified a couple of different parts of it, low profiled it a little more. You can still use an HS bow scale 3.0 on it if you want to get an active weight while you're drawing it back. Just throw it on the hook and hook it into there. But if you have like a 33 or 34 inch draw length, you can still use just the hook and still set your draw board. You're just not going to be able to get the scale weight. However, a little trick. If you are one of those guys that has a 33 or 34 inch draw length, when you use this, draw it back 3/4 of the way, set it back down, you'll get an accurate weight just like anybody else would. You won't get the holding weight, but you get the actual peak weight, because normally somewhere in here is about where the bows will peak at. And it degrades down as you go to here for what the actual draw is. So we're just going to go ahead and put a bow in here and draw it back for you. You can see how it works, which you've probably seen it multiple times, but this is just the draw board video. So then just rotate it up. Mind your press when you're doing it, because it can get in your way. And pull that open. There you go, pops right in. And you just need an angle. It doesn't even have to be a specific angle. You just want it tipped downhill. Rotate this over until you can see the bubble even. And then if you look at your sight, when you're trying to hold that, you can see your sight bubbles hitting the left line there when that one's in between it. So you want those two to look the same. So we're going to tweak this a little bit. For our third, is that, man, I can't see it. Yeah. So whenever you're adjusting a third, if it's a 2-screw system like this, it's wise to leave one of them with a little bit of tension on it, so it kind of holds it, but you can still grab it and move it. And that's about the easiest way to set this thing. So rotate this to where it shows that. There you go. So now those two bubbles match each other, so when you're pointing downhills and uphills, it's actually on a flat line. So if you don't have this set correctly, your uphills and downhills will hit off left or right with an out of tune third axis. So that's what that adjustment's for and why it's relevant to everybody. Because at the end of the day, even if you're not shooting very far, you're still probably shooting out of a tree stand from an elevated position. You're still getting that angle. So, and this was actually a indirect accident, to be completely honest, that it did this. When I originally built my first draw board, it didn't rotate like that. But I looked at it and went, I wonder, picked it up and held it at an angle and saw how easy it was to see your third axis, because you have to set this at draw. There's pressure here that changes the pitch it sits at. So if you try to do this on an angle but don't draw the bow back, it's not going to match at all. So accidental benefit for this tool, but it's pretty awesome. And the way we size these up here, it's the same size as when we convert these to a drill, so you don't have to change socket sizes when you're going from the press to the draw board. Now I'm going to go ahead and set this down. Now whenever you try to pull this out, take the weight off of it, pull it back a little bit, and then let it go, and it pops back in. There you go. Like I said, none of this has to be exact, it's just to hold it. And pull this out of here. Okay, so something to keep in mind here. One, this can move. Doesn't have to be on here tight. I usually frequently leave them loose. The guys brought this one over and tightened it up. But you can slide it back and forth on here to clear wherever you need to mount it. Right? So if you got a longer bow, you can position it, right? Pulls right off your press. If you don't need it, just stick it aside, leave it off your press. This piece right here is for changing from a left-handed bow to a right-handed bow. Okay, this is staggered off-center on purpose. It's so this simulates your hand, and that simulates your release, drawing it back. These things cannot be in a straight line or your bow won't time. If you've heard me comment on why the Last Chance Draw Board doesn't work correctly, which consequently their new one does have an adjustment in it and is different, so the new ones that are out there will actually time your bow correctly now. So thank you, Last Chance, for fixing that problem. But if you want to change from left to right, all you do is unscrew this and screw it into the other side. And now you're lefty. It's that simple. It's the only thing you should ever have to change or move on this. They are on the website as of now. They are $399.99. Hopefully that's not crazy, but I'm not making a ton of money on them at that price, but I want people to have good tools that make their job easier for tuning and adjusting your bow. Comment down below on what you think of this draw board. My first one of these, literally first one I ever made, was like 7 years ago. And it's taken 7 years to take it from the idea of it functioning to actually existing today. And I'm sorry, I should have worked on it more earlier, because this does make your life a lot easier. You can set this thing in a draw board and use it while the bow's in the press too, which is pretty awesome. So anyway, comment down below what you think of this product. These are only available on my website, so I would tell you to go down and buy it from your local pro shop, but you can't. So I'll hook you up. Thanks for watching.